2-1, the Oilers win it to kick off this 4-game Eastern Conference road trip in Boston. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show on EST. Tom Gazzola and Zach Tacum with you. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be joining us shortly to break it all down in what was a very exciting, low-scoring affair between two really good teams tonight in Boston, and ultimately it's the Oilers getting the late win. A couple of goals, a goal with the goalie pulled. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with another phenomenal back check to take away an empty netter from Danton Heinen. And then you see them get the equalizer. And then in overtime, puck out a string, seam pass, McDavid to Draisaitl. How many times have we seen that? He buries it and adds to the Bruins' overtime misery. That was their 23rd OT game. We were talking about it on the pregame show with Eric Russo, Bruins reporter from Bruins TV. And we got another OT game and a 15th loss in overtime for the Bees. All right, let's get to texts, and we'll also take nasty chats and all that good stuff if you're listening on iHeartRadio, as well as TuneIn and our EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio stream. 780-218-9999 is the number to text us. And if you're watching on the EST YouTube channel, like that video and then get into the nasty chat, and we'll dip into that nasty chat. Let's see how it's doing. It's bouncing. It's doing what it does best after what was a very exciting night in Boston at TD Garden, where the Oilers prevailed, picking up 2 points. Let's go to the scoring summary. Pavel Zacha opened things up in the third period. No score after two. Not a lot of great opportunities for the Oilers through the first two periods. Boston probably had the better opportunities and the better looks, and Stuart Skinner was phenomenal again in this one. But Zacha on the transition turnover in the neutral zone, which Matty Kassian talked about on the pregame show, and Zacha from Heinen on the one-timer. No chance for Skinner. Witherspoon making the big play to get it over to Heinen. Zacha converts his 15th of the year, third in 2 nights. And then that goal coming at 4:26. Late, a minute 20 left on the clock at 18:40. They are giving it to Zach Hyman, his 43rd of the year. Scramble in front and behind Linus Ullmark. It's Hyman with his 43rd. Draisaitl with the redirection where it fluttered up into the air. I thought it went straight in, but they're saying Hyman batted it in or got a piece of it. McDavid, the secondary assist, his 75th point of the season, or 75th assist of the season, 98th point. 1-1, we are tied. In overtime, 2:18 in. Draisaitl, his 31st goal of the season from McDavid, his 76th assist of the season, and Bouchard, his 44th assist, gives the Oilers the 2-1 victory. What a game that was. Shots on goal for the Oilers and for the Bruins, 26 each. Edmonton better on the face-off dot, 57.4 to 42.6%. The Oilers' power play did not look particularly great tonight. 0 for 2. The PK goes 2 for 2, so that's a good sign. You'll take that trade-off with the 2 points. Hits 36-32 in favor of the Bruins. Block shots 26. Boston was getting into lanes tonight. They really were. 26 block shots for the Bruins to 11 for Edmonton. 12 giveaways officially for Boston to Edmonton's 6. Takeaways, according to the off-ice officials, 6-5 in favor of the Bruins. The number that matters is on the score clock, and that is 2 for Edmonton, 1 for Boston in OT. Let's get to some texts and to some nasty chats. So we'll get Zach to come on here soon. We'll also get Matty Kassian on here when he is ready to go. But the Oilers win it 2-1 in overtime. This one from the rookie just simply says, Nuge for Selke. I understand. He's made some great plays defensively. He's been good offensively. Not 100-point good, but still pretty good this year. And a clutch play with the net empty, robbing Danton Heinen, getting a stick on the puck, and making Heinen shoot it wide with the empty net. All right, this one, I don't know if this Norm in a combine says, I'm so done with Bouchard. Can they get Barry back? Sorry to rant, but it's all valid. Then Norm follows up with, Skinner was excellent. The team was good. It was a good game. 2 playoff teams playing hard. Nice to see Perry take a little run at Marchand. Bouchard is killing me, says Norm. Yes, Bouchard had some moments tonight where you're like, what was that? What was that? I think even when Heinen got that opportunity into the empty net and Nugent Hopkins went back, I think that was off of a shot into the shin pads by Bouchard. But I understand, Norm. I understand. Serenity now, Norm. You'll be okay. This text says, what a game from Kris in Fort Mac. Yes, indeed it was. Dirty Curdy getting in on the action tonight. Dirty Curdy says, Nugent Skinner, give this team a chance. And Leon and Connor, extract the goat horns off McLeod. That's right. McLeod with the empty net blows it wide. Blows it wide. Could have had the equalizer there. It didn't happen, but they're giving Hyman the equalizer. Happened a couple minutes later. Dirty Curdy adds, that's a huge road win. Gritty from Dirty Curdy. Bad Billy says, Bad Billy, Tommy, what an exciting playoff-style game. Great comeback, and thank baby Jesus for Nuge. He wins that once with that back check. Yes, indeed, Bad Billy. That was a great play by Nugent Hopkins. Nice to see people giving him some love. Obviously, not the most ideal, consistent year for him, but lately he has been on fire in his own zone with the back checks and has been pretty good offensively as well. This text out of Calgary says, very boring game until the last 3 minutes or so. Solid game by Skinner. What a save he made in the first period on Marchand, I think. Yes, he was very, very good. I thought even though it was a low-scoring affair, like it was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. There were some chances. You had to work for your opportunities. You heard Derek Ryan talking about it in the intermission. It's a playoff-style game. We're going to see games like this, especially going down the stretch and then into the playoffs where it's going to be tight. The one thing that stands out to me about this Oilers team now compared to years prior is when it's a game like this, there doesn't seem to be as much panic. There seems to be a calm. They seem comfortable with the scenario. They're down a goal. They let one in. They seem to be able to deal with it way, way better than in years past, and I think that's a good indicator. Hopefully I'm right, but what I've seen from this team this year, when things get rough and the going gets tough, they seem to handle it much better, and they are getting the results when things aren't working out for them or not going particularly well and in their favor. They grind through it. They did that tonight against the Boston Bruins. Let's see what's going in with the nasty chat. Matt Kassian says he's coming in hot. All caps from Cass. He's ready to go, Zach, to come whenever you can get him on. Fish Take says, Tommy, have a rum. I'm enjoying a tragically hip Lake Fever lager right now. It's actually very good. I went into whatever's left. There's a lot of beer left in our beer fridge, and this is delicious. I actually spilt it and cleaned it up very quickly. Carmen says, what a win. Skinner with a solid game, and I thought Vinny and Nurse were good again together. Yes, Carmen, they were good again together. Cece and Kulak, very steady in this one. Dr. Gonzo teasing Cass says, who are we trading today, Cass? And Jeffrey says, playoff hockey, all caps. Well, yes, indeed. That was a lot of fun. Let's get our game analyst, Matt Kassian, in here as the Oilers would it 2-1 in overtime over the Boston Bruins. Cass, man, I disagree with those that thought that was a boring game. I was intrigued by it. I know that the Oilers had to work for their opportunities. I thought Boston had the better chances overall, and when they got them, Stu Skinner was standing on his head. Yes, late in the game, McLeod blows that one by Ullmark as well as the gaping, yawning Cage, and they still managed to claw their way out of it. What stood out to you from tonight's game that you noticed about this Oilers team?
Yeah, well, it was a chess match. I mean, a different type of game than the Edmonton Oilers normally have to play. Kind of tight from beginning to end. It was really it had, as was commented a number of times, I think on the broadcast, it had a playoff like atmosphere to it, and it certainly did. Where it was like one mistake could be the difference, and it just about was. It just about was. Cody Ceci misreads a play.
Yep.
Turns into a 2-on-1, and it's in the back of your net in the third against a Boston team that's very, very good. And as we talked about, very comfortable in 1-goal games. Now the Edmonton Oilers, you battle back into it. You find a way. You already mentioned the McLeod miss, which, if they don't tie it up and don't win in overtime, we might be, probably talking about that miss and the need to bear down on opportunities. But you still find a way with the extra man on to get that goal. And then, coin toss is always in overtime. And this time you are the team that comes out on top. And so, Tommy, it was a methodical game, but not one where it was methodical in them picking apart the other team.
Right.
It was just methodical from both sides in terms of their process, where it was pretty steady for both teams. And I would agree with you. I do think the Boston Bruins probably slight edge or advantage in opportunities, but Stuart Skinner made a couple of big saves, couple of key saves late in the game too, to keep the game within reach.
Cass, I talked about the face-off percentage when I was going over the game stats and the scoring summary. Edmonton with just over 57% of the draws tonight. Maybe the most important draws of the game were the ones in OT. I mean, they had the puck the majority of overtime, and you lose that draw. We've seen it this year when the Oilers have gotten into overtime and they lose that draw, and they're not hanging on to it. Like possession. And Norman at Combine brought up that Bouchard was driving him crazy. There was a play Bouchard made in overtime where he tried to bank it off the wall, and it basically just a giveaway. But, man, incredible what they were able to do to keep the puck on their stick and then manage to regroup a bunch of times in overtime, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and that puck possession overtime, as we've seen, not just with Edmonton, but all over the league, is so important. It's so important to hold on to that puck and to wait for your opportunities, not just to force something, but to wait for your opportunities. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from Ullmark to freeze the puck, to let Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl get back on the ice, and win a draw, of which, they were the better team on draws tonight, and they managed to hold on the puck from that point on. Draws are important. Faceoffs are important. Overtime, they're even more important just because of that possession and how long you can hold onto the puck.
Really quickly, an update on the official scoring. Leon Draisaitl has been credited with that equalizer, not Zach Hyman. So Draisaitl got his 31st on the equalizer at 18:40 from McDavid and Bouchard. And then the game winner, the same trio combining for it on Draisaitl's 32nd of the season from McDavid and Bouchard. McDavid cast now at 99 points. Surely he gets it Thursday in Columbus. Anything else? Like, is there anything really to nitpick? Like the one read by CC, you got a little overzealous. You were talking about transition and neutral zone stuff. But overall, Cass, I feel like the team in general, including CC, played a pretty airtight game.
Yeah, well, it's easy to pick on that one because it's the only one where the puck ended up in the back of your net. But it was a misread. He gets caught up ice. The Edmonton had some players coming back. They had some back pressure, but a great play by Boston to thread a pass through and a great one-timer to be able to get that puck away quickly to not allow Edmonton to finish coming back to defend. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's a misread. There was a guy behind you. You can't jump up ice there. You have to recognize the biggest threat. The biggest threat was behind you in that instance. So again, easy to pick on that one instance. But I mean, Kulak and Ceci for the rest of the game were pretty steady, And if we want to look at the pairings as a whole, and you touched on Vinny Deharnais and Leon Draisaitl and Darnell Nurse already a little bit, but they had a strong game too. Really, Tommy, from top to bottom. Like there was no one, even in your bottom six, there was no one that had like an off, poor, bad night.
Right.
From top to bottom, it was pretty solid. The D course certainly fits into that. Yeah, if we're gonna nitpick, yeah, CC shouldn't have jumped on that play.
Yeah, it ended up costing him a good heads up and a nice play. Zaka, third goal in 2 nights. But it would be all for naught. Although Boston does pick up a point. They're in a race with the Florida Panthers for the top spot in the Central Division, so they pick up a point that way. But more importantly, the Oilers continue to add points, a 5th straight win. And now Edmonton creating that separation with the Golden Knights, and I think that's pretty important too, Cass. These are crucial victories, and Edmonton at 78 points. 5 wins in a row, 7-2-1 in its last 10 games through 60 games. The Golden Knights, 73 points through 62 games. They did pick up Anthony Mantha today for a second-rounder and a fourth-rounder. The second-rounder coming in 2024, the fourth-rounder coming in 2026. So are you willing to say that the Canucks are in sight, or do you think still with 3 games in hand, maybe temper those expectations a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're still 8 points back, so you got to win all 3, and then you're still 2 points back. So, are they in the sights? Yeah, they are. But there's still some distance to make up.
Right.
There's still some distance to make up. So, you know what? I don't think if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you want to sit and dwell on it. You certainly want to be cognizant of it. You want to finish as well as you can and as high as you can, and you want to win the division. But I mean, you still have to maintain just that night by night process. And you end up with a big comeback win tonight. You score late. You score in overtime. The tendency would be to what you don't want to have happen is that deep breath when
Right.
you play a much lesser opponent, which is coming up right away. But yeah, it's possible, which is absolutely crazy still to be saying that, based on where this team was, 3 months ago or 20 games into the season, to think that they would have a sniff or a chance or an outside chance. Like there was like no way in my mind that they would ever even be in the conversation, but they're in the conversation, Tom, because they realistically, could they win those 3 games? Of course they could.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they could. They got a big win tonight. That's 2 points closer.
Pat Maroon's bib. It's funny what happens a couple of nights and what can change. Pat Maroon's bib says, if y'all are looking for a boat anchor, McLeod has 2 of them, stone hands in those mitts, channeling his inner Larocque. In that instance, yes, but 2 nights ago, Cass, what he did, he threaded a puck from the goal line off of Alex Nedeljkovic, and so even you saw, as soon as he shot it, he couldn't believe it.
He knew.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but you know what? He gets bailed out by the big dogs, and Stuart Skinner was great. Defense in general was good. They get the win in overtime. All right, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Zach to come with you. Nasty chat continues to go strong. This one from Eric says, I think Cass needs to check his numbers. Pretty sure Oil only 1 point back, winning all games in hand. So Eric, they're 7 points back.
Math is hard. I said 2.
Yeah,
so
it's not a big deal.
My mistake.
I got your back,
I
dog.
said 2.
I got your back.
Yeah, thanks. We're good.
Kevin says Oil will be winning the division. So Kevin making a statement there in the nasty chat. And then let's go back to the inbox here. Heinen is no Hyman. A texter out of Calgary. Your boy Barron says, Tommy, I just want to say that the Oilers have not lost a game since my son was born. Undefeated in his era. Your boy Barron, congratulations, pal, from all of us at EST, and that's great to hear. I hope you're enjoying dad life. Cass can speak to it. I have no idea what it's like. I can only imagine.
It's busy. That first couple of weeks, just survive. Just survive. It gets better. That's what I would have to say. It gets better. Yeah, the first couple of weeks, it can be a little dicey. You're trying to figure out how to keep this little human alive, but you know what? You can do it.
Cass, it's so good. You did it 2 more times after the first one. Yeah.
What was I thinking? I
don't know. You're the only guy in the house, but you seem to be doing just fine. You got 4 lovely ladies that you get to spend time with all day or a day, Cass. So it's all good. Your boy Barron, congratulations, man, and good to see some positivity in your baby's life when it comes to what's going on in oil country. That's great. Matt from Okotoks texting and says, Stu, all the Oilers have to do is play half-decent defensively consistently, and Stu will be able to do the rest. Full confidence in this guy. Also, he deserved to be a start tonight. Let's go, Oilers. All right, Matt from Okotoks, thank you for highlighting Stuart Skinner. This is crunch time, Cass. This is when things kick into high gear. This is where the good teams start to level up their play, and we're watching a young goalie in just his second full NHL season do the same. I would think that that's a damn good indicator.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Do you want to talk about how, like, 2 weeks ago, people were talking about they need to trade for goalie?
Yes, sure. Yeah, absolutely. We can. Let's dip into that. It wasn't long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
No.
It wasn't that long ago. And now you have a young guy in Stuart Skinner who pitches a game like we saw tonight, where he was just absolutely steady. I mean, my thought down the stretch for Stuart Skinner is wanting to make sure that he has enough rest, because when he's rested and when he's focused and when he's playing, like he was really good tonight.
Yep.
Really, really good tonight. He kept you in it. He gave you a chance to win. and gave you a chance to get back in the game. And that's, at some point that's going to happen in the playoffs where you need a goaltender to do it. And then, I think a good example tonight of doing it against a Boston Bruins team that's a playoff team in a playoff type atmosphere.
A contender, those Boston Bruins are, I would say. Skinner, his 29th victory of the season. His record 29-13-2, improves to 2-2-1 lifetime versus Boston in 5 games. Linus Ullmark, I thought he played really well. He has dropped his last 6 starts, Cass. And this is the guy that won the Vezina last year. It can happen to the
He's
best.
their backup goalie right now.
Well, Swayman's their guy, right?
Swayman's their guy. He's their number one. Yeah. Ullmark lost the starting job. And I mean, you want to talk about potential trade things. What about teams looking to trade for Ullmark or for Ullmark as a possible goaltender? That would be interesting.
That would be
Boston
crazy.
Bruins could get a little beefier somewhere in their lineup. So it's
Boston, I find they have some giants on their team, Cass. I think that they are a beefy team in general. Isn't that fair to say?
Yeah, I meant more beefy as in just like good.
Okay.
But yes, they are a large team. They're that type of beefy as well. So I don't think they would be looking to add just that physicality. I mean, they're probably still. I mean, if I was the Boston Bruins, if you had an opportunity to trade Ullmark and you could move him for another guy that can play on your second or third line, just adds to your depth even a little bit more already than you already have. But yeah, goaltending swings happen, and it's I would say it's less typical. Well, it's been getting more and more common, Tommy, where we see these swings year to year with goalies, where they'll be the starter, then all of a sudden, the starter's job is in question, and all of a sudden, teams are quicker to switch goaltending and quicker to give the starting roles to younger players or to the next guy, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of, I would say, an interesting feature of modern NHL.
Yeah. Goalies kind of, to me, are starting to feel like running backs,
Yeah.
They just kind of turn and burn. Who's going? Not a lot of them hang around for a long time anymore. It's weird.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll have exceptions to that.
Of course.
But I think a fair question really would be like with Ullmark, and Ullmark in particular is, was it his goaltending or was it the Boston Bruins and how good they were that basically won him the Vezina? And I think that's a fair question to ask. Because I'd be curious, Tommy. I don't know if someone could look into that to see. It may be tough to check, but how many Vezina winning goaltenders the next year weren't the starter for the same team?
Right.
I'd be curious.
That's a good one, Cass. That's a good one.
If someone wants to dig that up, because I'm not going to do it, but someone could.
Fun size Andrea via the nasty chat. Andrea, I hope you're okay. She says, "It's amazing. I've lost my voice." Probably screaming, watching that game. Into the inbox we go one more time, 780-218-9999. Tommy, what a game, says KL. Nuge with a game-saving play leading to the win. Stu with another great game. The person I am impressed with tonight was Deharnais. He looked really good, stopping the cycle, breaking up plays all night. Keep the W's coming. KL with that one. Cass, today somebody sent me a note saying, hey, the Oilers have been talking to so-and-so on this defenseman, and the name I heard, I was just like, well, that's definitely a guy that probably won't get into the lineup very much. But a testament to what Vinny Deharnais continues to do as he grows as a late bloomer.
Yeah, and late bloomer, but late bloomer that is blooming because of the work that he's doing. Just continues to work at it, continues to play simple, continues to play hard, continues to block shots. Like he's doing a lot of the little things really, really right. And it's fun to see a player that just stuck with it for really a long period of time, longer than some players' careers in terms of when he broke into the NHL. Some guys are finished by the time he did. So,
right.
It's been fun to watch. I've had a couple chances to meet him and to talk to him, and he's very, very pleasant to talk to, and generally has a big smile on his face, and he just goes out and works, Tommy. So again, it's I think we talked before the game about how it was a little bit of an audition for these new lines, and as far as tonight, he passed the test tonight.
780-218-9999. Colorado Rusty says Nuge gets the plunger and the paintbrush tonight. Eden chiming in says, hey, boys, first star was Stu Skinner. Second star, Nuge. That's it. That's all. No love there for Leon Draisaitl. 2 goals, 1 late and then 1 in OT. All right, Eden.
Well, I get if you threw Dry a third, I mean, Dry doesn't get a chance to get the overtime goal.
Yep.
If Nuge doesn't make a play on the empty net. So I get that. I get that thought process to say that, and Skinner was the first star.
Yes, he was. So, absolutely. Ryan from
I get
Sask.
that. I'm with that thought process.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ryan from Sask says, great road win. Oilers remain patient. Wait, did I just say that? Skinner was awesome. D-pair switch looks to be working. Ryan from Sask. The D-pair switch is very, very fresh still. We have to keep that in mind before we jump to conclusions, right? But the indicators are good, Cass. The indicators are good, but we need to remind ourselves this is fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. It's 2 games in, really. I know they had tried it a little while ago and they were playing horrible as a team. So if we just kind of throw those out, really it's 2 games with it. So it still is fresh, still is new, but it looks really good. One of the things I do like about it is with your fourth line or your third line is you can still put them out and know that you have CC and Kulak on that third pairing. If you're playing that third pairing with your fourth line, and all of a sudden you have a really steady, dependable third pairing too, which frees you up to play against some of the other lines. You maybe aren't as worried about line matching, and I think is helpful. So it's still an experiment. I mean, we're still in that learning process with this to see if it sticks for a long period of time. But I mean, 2 solid games with this group, and they're certainly going to run it back.
It is a good reminder, and we have seen experimentation with the forwards, certainly, as well as the blue liners, and Cass, you pointed it out. It didn't work out the last time they tried it, and I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, I think the key to this, too, is just not touching Ekholm and Bouchard. Switch those other 2. I remember they tried to switch Ekholm with Bouchard.
You can't. No,
it did not.
No. Bouchard needs Ekholm. Ekholm studies him out immediately. You do not want to move those 2. I am not touching those.
No, just leave it. Do you want to nitpick Bouchard, or you want to just leave that too?
I mean,
Norm wasn't happy.
I was having I was having a conversation the other night in between one of the periods in Pittsburgh with ex-Oilers defenseman Ladislav Schmid.
Yes.
And we were talking about Bouchard, and we both said it's like it's what you get. You know what you get with him, which is he's got tremendous patience in the offensive zone, and it works very well in his favor in the offensive zone. Makes unbelievable plays, opens up the ice and does some fantastic things. But that same patience and what we would call patience in the offensive zone, a lot of people would call a lack of urgency in the defensive zone, where there's times when he holds onto the puck a little bit too long, tries to wait a little bit too long for the perfect play. But the difference is, in the offensive zone, people are playing aggressive defense, trying to force a turnover at your net. And there's 3 or 4 guys behind them that they have to bail them out if you beat them, or even if you blow right by them, well, it's not instantly an on-man rush coming back the other way. Like you have guys back, you can still sort things out. Where in the offensive zone, people are playing tighter defensively, and it's a different type, style, and level of aggression. And his again, patience or lack of urgency, depending on if it's something good that happens or something bad that happens, it can come back to bite him. And that's exactly what Laddie Schmid was saying too, is like, it's fantastic in the offensive zone. At times it can bite him in the defensive zone. And for Evan Bouchard, it's keeping the pizzas to a minimum, right? It's going to happen on occasion with him. It's going to. With his offensive abilities and what he tries to do, it will happen on occasion. It's having teammates that are going to bail you out and limiting those. And I would say, since that 20 game mark, for the most part, Evan Bouchard has done a fantastic job of eliminating those. I mean, it's not very often that it happens. Now it happens tonight. And fortunately, it doesn't come back to bite them. Now you get some help, you get some goaltending, you get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and you're okay. So I don't want to jump all over him about it. It kind of is what it is with him, where again, on occasion you're gonna have that happen, and people are always gonna be upset.
Yeah, Norm was a little bit upset, so I think that's a good explanation Well said as always, Cass. And Norm, I said, serenity now. Give yourself a serenity now. It's going to be okay. Do it Frank Costanza style. Calgary Glenn texting in says, hey, Tommy, a bit of a tight defensive game. Skinner huge all night. Nuge game saving. Never give up. Back check. Great work by McDavid on the game time goal and the OT winner. Calgary Glenn. Hello, Calgary Glenn. Good to hear from you. Oh, another one. Another one, Matt. I don't know if you're looking in the inbox, but Matt says, hey, boys, the youngest member of the EST crew supporting the Oil tonight. 3 weeks old. Look at that little munchkin. Adorable. With the game on in the background. EA. Hello, EA. Good to hear from you. Tommy, I had a spicy text ready to go as regulation was winding down, but the tying goal by Dry made me delete it. All is good, Tommy. A win is a win, but damn do they make some wins super dramatic. This team, this franchise, all it knows is drama. It's never easy. Cass, like I said earlier in the year, like, why can't Oilers fans just have a year where everything's kosher? They start good. There's no real slumping in the middle of the season. They end losing skids.
Tommy,
they nip those in the bud. Never.
That wouldn't be fun, would it? I mean,
not as fun.
That's part of the drama. That's part of the drama of sports. I mean, there's never a season, and there probably won't ever be in the NHL that's a perfect season. You're always going to have ups and downs. There's always going to be a roller coaster. And Tommy, that's part of the fun. People would be bored. They wouldn't you wouldn't know what to do with themselves. So a little bit of the drama is okay. We like it. And there's a reason people like The Bachelor and Bachelorette. There's the reason people like that. Love is Squinting show, because the drama that happens, right?
I guess.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't know, Cass.
People like the drama. Come on, Tom. You watch all those shows by yourself. I've seen your apartment. It's too clean for you to not watch those shows.
Whatever, Cass. Whatever. Gaz, Cass, and Zach with you on the Oil Stream Postgame Show. The Oilers win it 2-1 in OT. A pair of goals from Leon Draisaitl. A huge back check from the Nuge. A missed empty net by Ryan McLeod. And one blown transition through the neutral zone. That is the story of the game. I guess you could say, too, the blocked shots by the Bruins. Absolutely. In a tight playoff-style game, the Oilers do get the 2 points and kick off this road trip the right way. It is off to Columbus on Thursday, 5 o'clock start. We're on the air 3:30, Cass, for the pregame show as this thing out east. It reminds me how quickly those games happen in the day. And then 10:30 on Saturday and 11 o'clock on Sunday with daylight savings time. Brutal. Jason Texan says, Bruins were definitely focused on blocking shots. It was getting frustrating. Can't imagine for the players. Jason, thanks for the text. Buzz in Nebraska sending in a picture. What's up, Buzz in Nebraska? He's got this. He's got it on the TV. 2 TVs above the fireplace. Welcome to our home. Buzz, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that very much. Buzz says 9-6-2. 9-6-2. Yes, indeed. Much better. Shaggy in St. Albert gets at us, says Nuge is the one that saved it for the Oilers. Skinner did what he needed to do. Oilers got lucky at the end, but you have to be good to be lucky. All right, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. We will go inside the Oilers locker room. Down in Boston, we'll get more from Cass shortly. I'll just quickly read the out-of-town scores for you. For those keeping tabs on what's going on in and around the National Hockey League, 9 games on the sked today. Florida beats New Jersey 5-3. Cass, that season for the Devils is toast. Goodbye. It's over. Pittsburgh winning 5-3 over Columbus. Maybe too little, too late. We're hearing Gensel's getting traded. Highly doubt he's going to Edmonton. Just want to reiterate that. But crazier things have happened, I suppose. But don't get your hopes up. The Islanders 4-2 over St. Louis. On Long Island, Montreal ends Nashville's 8-game winning streak, 4-3 in OT. The Habs got a crazy goal from David Savard, a very fortuitous bounce from center ice, and takes the crazy ricochet and goes in to the empty net while the goalie was going to anticipate the puck being rimmed around. That definitely works out in Montreal's favor as they snap the Preds winning streak. Seattle with a big 4-3 win in Winnipeg. That's a good win for the Kraken. Chicago 4-2 over Arizona at Mullet Arena after 2. 0-0 between the Kings and the Canucks at Crypto.com Arena, 4 minutes into that one. And San Jose up early on Dallas, also 4 minutes into that game at the Shark Tank. All right, Cass, any other things you want to get to? How's the nasty chat doing? I saw you texting away there. Are you yelling at people?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
No, well, yeah. Apparently my webcam's fuzzy and someone's starting a petition for a GoFundMe. I probably should just taken one from the studio. So maybe I'll do that next time I'm
We
in.
have like 15
also,
of them.
yeah, people commenting about Wi-Fi and my skin color and all kinds of things because of the lighting. But I'm not in my normal spot. I'm not in my mini studio because it's being used by an infant that is visiting of a family that's visiting from Texas. So
how are they enjoying our March weather?
Well, I said welcome to Canada. It was quite an edge of sarcasm when they arrived. So I mean they're happy to be here. It's a lot of snow. I think they're looking, and I am too, looking forward to like Thursday or Friday when it's a little bit warmer and we can go outside and do some snow stuff because the kid that's sleeping in my office is pretty young and has never really.
Oh no, he froze again.
Yep.
There he is.
Kind of fun to get her out there and do that.
Nice. And I saw Clausen's forecast. He says a warming trend on Thursday. Nice and pleasant by Friday. So we should be in for a good weekend. I really want to get to a quick text here that I saw that I was kind of laughing at. Not really laughing at this one, but I was laughing at what the nasty chat was saying about the camera. Simple 101 says 2 years ago, no way the Oilers win this game. Now I'm just waiting for the impossible to happen. Ooh. James says any fuzzier and it would look like a 1970s Playboy centerfold. Cass. Well, all right. Zach Tacoma, are we ready to go inside the Oilers locker room? Not yet. A couple more minutes here. All right. Jesse Puljujarvi, Cass, scoring for Pittsburgh, his first goal. That's nice to see. Appreciate that, certainly.
Yeah, it's still not going to help his head size. Might swell up another couple inches.
Kent in Red Deer says, give me a 7-game series with these two teams. That would be a lot of
that'd
fun.
Be pretty fun.
That would be. Mike in Thunder Bay says, Skinner just outdueled the reigning Vezina winner. What a show. Love to see solid goaltending. That's how you get far in the playoffs. And then adds, serenity now, insanity later. Love it. Cal in the Park says, awesome game to watch. Highly entertaining. Bouchard, a positive liability. Nuge won't lose. McDavid and Dry will not be denied. Jasmine, hello, Jasmine, says, Tommy, my Vancouver cousins are losing it, saying Boston played back-to-back and we had an easy schedule. These guys tripping. Boston had an easy schedule. I hope LA Pistol whips the Canucks tonight. Edmonton's schedule isn't very easy here, Cass. It's not. They just came off they're playing their fourth game in 3 nights. Or 3 days, I should say.
Or 3, yeah. Not fourth game. They're playing the third game.
Third game, pardon me. Sorry. I crossed that out.
No, and with travel and a decent amount of travel too. So no, it wasn't easy. I mean, yes, Boston's in a back-to-back, but not an easy run for Edmonton. Now you get an easier game coming up with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but no, I listen, if you wanted to say earlier in the year they had an easier schedule, playing less games, sure.
Yes.
But this March, no. Not an easy schedule, not at all.
No. Third game in 4 days, pardon me. Yes, I flipped that around. My bad. Displaced Yukoner says, great game. Nugent's my first star. He is just as important to that win as 29 and 97. What a player. Nice to see Nugent Hopkins cast. There's been years, like we've been doing this show together for 5 years now, and there were years where Nugent Hopkins was getting shredded by the fan base. Do you think now people are starting to realize what this guy could do? He had a 100-point season last year, and there's still some people being like, what is Nugent Hopkins?
Yeah. I mean, that was always ridiculous to me.
Yes.
That was always ridiculous to me. Now, there was a period of time, I think 3 years ago, when he wasn't playing great.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, there's things he could do better, offensively, and he had a couple struggles defensively. But overall, I mean, you can't complain about Ryan Nugent Hopkins. And there's how many people that wanted to trade him and move him and all this stuff. But no, you can't do it. Shouldn't do it. It ain't happening. Shouldn't happen.
Fat Dan says, holy smokes, Tommy and Cass, did you see that game? Flat out disagree that it was boring. That's the tight checking game the Oilers fans have been clamoring for, isn't it? All of a sudden, it's too boring for some? Dang. From Fat Dan, who also adds Ryan McLeod is era-adjusted Todd Marchand. Fast as crap. Maybe lacking the puck skills to keep up. You know what? Really quickly on McLeod, 22 points this year, Cass. Probably gets to around 30. That's not bad for a third-line center. I know he played some wing this year, but overall, when people look back on this season for him, don't you think they'll be like, yeah, not bad for a third-line center who's still relatively young?
Yeah, and if we discount some of the start to the season where he wasn't very good coming off that injury, now the whole team wasn't, and he didn't contribute to it. Wasn't able to score. Couldn't find the back of the net, couldn't do anything really. And when he did get bumped to wing, that kind of sparked him. That's what sparked the rejuvenation, and he's going to end up with a solid season. Like it really will be. It will be a solid season from Ryan McLeod. So I'm not it would be really, really easy to point to that missing empty net if they lost the game, but they didn't. So, we haven't talked about it overly much, but listen, he for a third line center as a young guy, he's doing all right. Yeah. Now, is he who I want in that third line center position heading into the playoffs? Not necessarily. I still think bringing in a veteran guy that's right-handed would be beneficial. Then you could play McLeod on that third line wing, or you could play him as a fourth line center. Like you could slide him around a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think you need to complain about his season as a whole. At this point, he has shown at a much greater level just what he's able to do, and just from a confidence standpoint. I mean, look back to that goal against Pittsburgh where it's like Ryan McLeod 2.5 months ago wouldn't have tried that. So no. He's trending in the right direction with his year here.
This text from a Vancouver area code says, "Go Canucks, go, sir. This is an Oilers postgame show.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Wendy's either."
Mm-hmm.
Liquid Beaver says, "Good grief! I think even Dusty would have buried that one that McLeod missed. Maybe." He's good around the net. Cass, do you want to stick around for audio, or what do you want to do, pal? I'll
probably bounce here before the audio,
okay.
If it's good audio, unless it's like really juicy and there's fights and stuff, in which case then I kind of got to stay and watch. But
Zach comes giving it is it good audio or is it juicy? Or is it boring?
It's audio. There's
That's not a good sell. Enough.
Okay.
That's all I need to know from the way you're indicating how the postgame audio is. So with that being said, that's all I needed to see from Zach. The look on his face was the tell. And then he's trying to be positive, which I appreciate. So with that being said, Cass, going into Thursday against Columbus, team that just lost to Pittsburgh but did beat Vegas last night, what are the Oilers going to focus on?
Not resting on your laurels. I mean, you end up with a big emotional win, with an overtime win, a comeback win in a game where you played fairly well, and it was a game that could have gone and just about went either way. The tendency would be to kind of sit back and be like, "Oh, it's Columbus, no big deal." So what are you focused on? You're focused on bringing intensity into it, which I feel like I've been saying that a lot recently. But that is what it is, because against the Columbus Blue Jackets, if you play at 95% of how you played tonight, you're probably going to win that hockey game. Now, if you don't, and if you let Columbus hang around, well, they're a team that's, guys are fighting for jobs. They're fighting for contracts. They're trying to fight for future ice time, and they're going to do what they can. So you have to come into it prepared to play. You can't sit back and just be content with that you have a winning streak going now. You can't be content that you just beat the Boston Bruins.
The Jackets will be in a 3-game and 4-day scenario when the Oilers face them on Thursday. Cass, phenomenal work as always, my friend. I look forward to catching up with you Thursday.
Absolutely. I'll go work on the Wi-Fi. So we'll see if we can get that back fixed.
Call Joaquin. He'll fix it. Yeah. All right, that was Matty Kassian, our game analyst. Great stuff from him, as always, helping us break down the Oilers' 2-1 overtime win over the Boston Bruins in a close, tight-checking affair that was entertaining. IMO. All right, Zach, to come. Let's see ya. Where are you? There he is.
There I am.
Where are we going? Because if you were on camera when you were trying to give us the taste and sense of the post-game clips, your face, I think, was like a bitter beer face. It was like, not great.
I didn't hear much of the audio. I just nabbing it, but we got some interesting characters.
Okay.
Well, some of them are characters, of course.
Sell it.
I'm going to sell you my pen, okay? You ever watch Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah.
Many times.
Many times? Yeah. I love that movie. But no, this guy doesn't need to sell anybody anything because he's already sold us as viewers his game, scoring 2 goals in the game. The overtime winner. Here is Leon Draisaitl.
Again, has this ability to showcase its resilience. Is that just a sign of what kind of growth is happening right now in this locker room?
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of maturity within our group. Obviously it's a tough building to play in, so thought we stuck with it and stayed patient, and yeah, it's very mature.
Does anything change to the mindset when the Bruins go up 1-0 there?
No, at the end of the day, you need one shot, one play to be made, and we got a lot of great players on our group that in tight games and tight moments can make a play. So we haven't been the best 6-on-5 this year, so it was nice to get one.
How would you describe the game winner?
It's just nice couple of moves by 97 there, and sagged him back, and nice play by him to me, and obviously got very lucky with that shot, but take it.
As a duo, what type of confidence do you have to be able to execute in those types of situations? And do you feel that 3-on-3 you guys are going to have success?
Yeah, I mean, when 3-on-3 first started, it was a lot easier than now. It seems like everyone has it figured out. We used to score a lot more, but nice to get one, and obviously been doing this for a long time with him, so it's definitely some confidence there.
We all talked about Nugent Hopkins' back check 6 days ago against St. Louis. How about his back check today to negate that empty net marker?
Yeah, probably never gets enough credit for how hard he works. He's one of the best guys in the world at stripping guys from behind, and he's such a sneaky hard worker. Doesn't get enough credit for that a lot of times. So, without that play, probably not standing here talking about a win.
Apologies if this was asked earlier, but does this feel like a playoff game to you? Like, did it have everything?
Game for sure, yeah. Tight game. Tough team to beat. Tough building to play in. They play playoff style game every night, so good for us to stick with it.
The patience to be down, to be 0-0 after 2, to be down 1-0, 58 minutes in, and you guys didn't sort of blow your brains out going for that goal.
Yeah, just like I said, maturity. Played it really well, really smart. That's the way you win hockey games. So good for us.
Goal to yours?
I don't know. I don't really care. I know the second one was.
I know.
Yeah.
What has it been like as a teammate watching Zach Hyman have the season he's had?
Yeah, it's been fun. He's such a unique hockey player, but so good, right? He knows where to go, and he's really adapted his game to obviously 97 mainly, but it's just really smart hockey player. Probably doesn't get enough credit for that as well, so very fortunate to have him.
There you go, Leon Draisaitl, a couple of goals tonight, helping the team pull off the overtime victory, and then praising Zach Hyman, rightly so, at the end of his availability. Okay, Zach, to come take us to our next bit of audio and video.
The next guy we will go to and hear from is the big man himself, who stands super tall, blocks a lot of shots, and has played a really good season, a great game today. Here is Vincent Deharnais.
No, seriously though, did it feel like that? Like a playoff time?
Yeah, it felt it was. I mean, our team effort was outstanding. I mean, I think her last 2 games were great tonight. I mean, Boston's such a good team. It's so hard to win here, and I've played here a few times in college, and it's probably one of my favorite rinks to play in. It's so fun. It's all tighter. Fans are pretty rowdy, so it was a great time.
Did it feel like a playoff game to you?
Yeah, it did. It did. It was tight. It was tight. It was not many shots, lots of block shots, lots of hits. And who knows? We might see them. We might see them at some point.
Tell me about a team that can just sit there at 0-0 and even down 1-0 and not panic and make take a chance that doesn't need to get made. And you guys better at that now.
First of all, I think it's pretty frustrating. You know, when you keep going. Their goalie was outstanding, but that's maturity. I think that's the Oilers that maturity that we need to build, because in playoffs that's what we need. And with 20-ish games left, that's what you're trying to build. And tonight is a great win for us. Great for confidence, and up to the next one now.
How's the team feeling about its game now 5 in a row?
I mean, when we were 16 in a row, I said the same thing. It doesn't really matter if we win 5 or 10 or 15 or 20. I think it's more the way we win them. And tonight, it's one of the best teams out there. And I think we showed our team that we can play against the best teams.
All right, there was the always enthusiastic Vinny Deharnais paired up with Darnell Nurse, playing 17-13, got 21 shifts. He had a shot attempt. He had a missed shot, 3 hits, 5 block shots, and overall solid, especially on the PK. The Oilers going 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. All right, Zach DeCom, this is our last bit of audio and video. Take us where we need to go, pal.
Well, take you to the man in charge, of course, Kris Knoblauch.
The team win, and to do it in that kind of style, what were you thinking on the bench as time was ticking away and just running out of time, but enough to still come back?
Yeah, I thought we played really well on the bench. I was thinking, it was too bad. I thought we played well. I thought we had a lot of opportunities. We played a good hockey team. The goaltender made some big saves, and usually after a game, even when you lose, you're disappointed, but you're thinking, oh, the process was good, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Obviously, we weren't done yet. And then a lot of thinking was, how much time you have power play and what's next, and trying to match, and when you're going to pull the goalie and who's going to be out there, and a lot of that going on in my head.
Is that almost with your coach, you're almost pulling your hair, thinking like, oh my gosh, when are we going to get one in a game like this?
Yeah, it was, those happen. You're playing a good defensive team, and I know they had a lot of block shots, especially in the first period, and their goalie came up with some big saves, but I think also, the chances were limited on both sides just because you've got two good teams who defended really well tonight.
Is that kind of the hockey, the playoff-style hockey that you saw during your 16-game streak that's kind of you're hoping to see kind of more of down the stretch?
Yeah, the last 2 games I thought we've defended really well, but I think most of when you have to defend or you get into trouble is usually turning the pucks over. You're not transporting the puck very well, and you're just spending time in the defensive zone. And the more time you spend there, you're going to make mistakes. And I think the last few games we've done such a good job of transporting the puck out of our zone, through the neutral zone, and spending a little more time in the offensive zone and not making many mistakes. And there's going to be mistakes, and we had a couple last tonight, but I think just moving the puck just helps the offensive game and helps the defensive game too.
I know all wins are great. When you come in and play Boston's kind of the hallmark for structure and a tough building and a good Eastern Conference team that does it right every year. To come in and play them this way and win this way, is it, maybe worth a little more?
Oh, absolutely. When you're playing a team that's at the end of a road trip or at the bottom of the standings or just a game that just doesn't mean much, you don't get excited and you don't feel as good about those wins as you do against a good team, a team that you measure yourself up against that, is among the elites in the NHL. I believe they're second in points tonight, and good hockey team, so it feels much better when you win those games.
Yep, absolutely. The fan base enjoying the Oilers' 2-1 overtime win over the Boston Bruins to kick off this 4-game Eastern Conference road trip. Kris Knoblauch, by the way, that was his 35th win in his 47th game behind the Oilers bench. Pretty impressive stuff there. Pretty impressive. James in the nasty chat said, hey, if the Oil win 15 of the last 22, then Knoblauch will have won 50 games, 50 in 69 games. I wonder who is the quickest to 50 in NHL history. That I'm not sure of. Kevin asking, would Knoblauch get any Jack Adams votes? I would think probably. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. All right, let's go to some texts, and then we're going to get to Zach Tacum giving us the player of the game. This one I think is kind of funny. Morgan says, clutch win. We should win the cup with ease once Vegas drops off, with a winky face. Love to see the tenacity of the team. Morgan, are you Matthew Iwanik's burner account? I'm kidding. He did have that comment earlier. Was it yesterday or today, Zach Tacum? Do you remember? I think it was yesterday. Talking about, he made a statement. If the Oilers get by the Golden Knights, they're going all the way.
Yeah, he said, what did he say?
I paraphrased
on the morning
it.
show, a couple days ago, he said, if the Oilers face the Golden Knights, it's an easy way to the cup. Easy.
If they win, and that's a huge if, I believe.
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing.
But it was a hot take, regardless.
It was. Iwanik dishing them out like candy. All right, time now to get to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Zach Tacum, you've been on fire all day long. Bring it home with the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite player of the game.
Well, this guy played almost as slick as my hair today. In the crease, Stuart Skinner. He played absolutely phenomenal the entire game for the Oilers, and he was on my eye the entire game. He stood out the entire time, and I think he was the biggest reason that the Oilers were able to take this game and bring it to overtime. He made some fantastic stops, one off Pasternak, and he just stood his ground, really. And the Oilers did have opportunities of their own, but the opportunities from the Boston Bruins were a lot more dangerous, and it was a really tight game. Both goaltenders did play pretty good. Yep. Stuart Skinner did stand out on top for me, and that's why he gets the player of the game tonight, the Damon Bunting player of the game. 25 saves on 26 shots, 962 save percentage tonight.
Very nice. Well done, Tino Vasilino. You've got that greasy. Yeah, I like it. You got the greasy hair going.
Yeah, I put too much of the Swedish hair cream in today.
You're learning so well. Very proud of you.
Learning more than just on-air stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you get the greasy hair. It looks great. Slick that back. Tino Vasilino in the house. Zach Tacum with the David Bunting RE/MAX Elite player of the game. Stuart Skinner, no complaints, I don't think, from anyone. Although, honorable mention to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Leon Draisaitl for their efforts tonight. All right, let's read some texts and some nasty chats. If you got anything to say, 780-218-9999, or if you're watching Nasty Chat, you can get at us. Zach Tacum will watch the Nasty Chat. G-Dog the Hog's in. G-Dog the Hog says, I think the Oilers can run the table in March like January. Another 16-gamer. And then G-Dog the Hog ends it with a ha-ha. You never know. All right, our boy Baron, an update, says he's living on adrenaline and coffee. Hang in there, your boy Baron. Hang in there. This one says, please give us a fresh bebe. Zach Tacum's a fresh bebe. Well done. And congratulations to your boy Baron with his fresh bebe, as well as I think it was Matt earlier sending in a photo of his fresh bebe. Byron says, boys, what a fantastic road win by the Oilers. They dominated the overtime. Great comeback, but wow, Nuge with the big back check on the empty net was absolutely amazing. Loved it. Big win. I will be bringing out the 93 jersey here on the 26th for sure. Byron from Winnipeg. Ooh, all right, coming in from Winnipeg, Byron. Thanks for tuning in, man. Timberwoodsman says, back to last trade deadline, were there any talks about Ekholm before it was announced? Any rumblings, or was it totally out of the blue? Could this happen again this year? Timber Woodsman, no talks about Ekholm, or very faint mentions of Ekholm, if I think back to last year. And could it happen again? The answer is yes. Who exactly? I don't know. but it's possible. Garrett from Victoria says, what are the odds they swing on a big forward like Buchnevich or Gensel, or are they thinking depth pieces like Henrique is more of what's to expect? Hello, Garrett from Victoria. I think the Gensel thing is that train has left, so highly, highly unlikely. I know there's interest in Buchnevich. A couple of things with that. Salary. And I know that would be the same for Henrique as well. But Buchnevich has a 12-team no-trade clause. Would have to waive to come to Edmonton. Would he be willing to? I would assume he would consider it. And I like Buchnevich the most out of all the big names that are floating out there. He's my personal favorite. I think the Oilers are going to make a play for him. Not so much Gensel. And I know, and Dave Pagnotta has said it on Hello Hockey Saturdays from 10 to noon. Here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as Sportsnet Calgary and Vancouver. Pagnotta has said that they've been looking at Henrique for a while. This text says, what do you think of the point structure when you watch both teams skate it to a draw from opposite conferences after Oilers tie? It seems like this, to see this more and more, should the NHL go to 3 regular wins, 2 OT win, 1 OT loss? I don't know. That's a tough one. Part of me is reluctant to change. I understand the dislike for the loser point. It has created parity. This was their 23rd, Boston's 23rd overtime game. It's kept them right up there at the top of the standings. They have lost 15 of them. I don't know about the winning in regulation gives you 3 points, because then we're going to see like records shattered and all these crazy things happen. I don't know. I guess I'm just partial to leaving it. But I understand the argument. I understand. Mike in Thunder Bay says, the Serenity Now thing. Yes, we'll reemphasize that. Jason in Leduc says, give that wid to the Nuge. Unreal. Hello, Jason in Leduc. Sherwood Sheldon in Texas. Man, we're getting a lot of internationals, a lot of people down in the U.S. Sheldon in Texas says, man, that was fun, boys. I just love watching Stu and Vinny develop. Those two have a close bond from being together in Baco. Sherwood Sheldon in Midland, Texas. All right. Peter says, how long do you think we continue to see Connor and Leon together? Ultimately, I think they need to be split up come playoffs to have success. What do you guys think, Peter? In the playoffs, definitely separate them. And I think they should probably do that sooner rather than later. Kenworth Kelly says, since you have a couple minutes to kill, I figured I'd share this with you. You got to love when Draisaitl gets pissy. And is that a cologne? It is a cologne with a turtleneck. Well played. Well played, Kenworth Kelly. Kris from Fort Mac says, looks like Gump Worsley was the starter for the Canadiens in 1968, and the following season looks like he was backing up Rogie Vachon in 68 and 69. Awesome dig, Kris from Fort Mac. Thank you for that. Cass was asking about it. Which Vezina winner ended up being the backup the next year? That's what Cass asked. So, Kris from Fort Mac, nicely done. Gump Worsley, starter for the Habs in 68. Rogie Vachon took over in 68, 69. All right, let's go to a couple more. Taco said, did Dry just say the Nuge is the best at stripping guys from behind? LOL. Oh, dirty mind. TG, what do you think of Mantha to Vegas? I think Vegas gets better. I like that. Vegas gets bigger and stronger. Now, how engaged will Mantha be? Sounds like he's having a pretty good season with 20 goals and will be motivated to help a good Golden Knights team. People who are writing off the Golden Knights, give your head a shake. This is a Stanley Cup defending team. They're really good and have been for the majority of the season. They're in a 3-6-1 slide right now. I think they're going to be balls to the wall, one of the strongest teams in the last 2 weeks of the season, and one of the teams to look out for. Like, are they world beaters? Are they unbeatable? No. But they're right there with some of the best, and I would not discount them for 1 second. They get Mantha. They're probably going to make another move. They're going to get Mark Stone back come playoff time. This team knows how to win. It's a beast. So whoever's people, I saw some people just writing them off. I'm like, you got to give your head a shake because they're much better than that. This one from Jodes in Bonnyville. Ooh, what's up, Jodes in Bonnyville. Says, Tom, if Sam clears waivers, do we see one trade for the Oil tomorrow afternoon? I don't think so. And I'll say this, Jodes, it's just the teams that are sellers are being stubborn. And I think for the Oilers, too, they want to accrue up until, as much as they can, up until Friday, which is not that much. But I think we see the action on Friday, maybe Thursday. But I think tomorrow might be like today where it's a little bit quiet. I hope I'm wrong for the sake of everybody. But my guess is Friday is the crazy day. All right, Zach Tecum, anything in the nasty chat you want to hit on?
One thing I'm seeing here from Reaper 1XXX, so about the point thing, instead of getting 3 points for a win and, taking away the loser point or whatever, 2-point regulation win, and then overtime is 3-on-3 for 10 minutes, 2-point OT, and I'm pretty sure he's saying split points, 1-1 if tied after 10 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime. So they would just split
the 3-on-3 overtime idea. Look,
yeah.
I think 95% of the games are ended with a 3-on-3 10-minute OT. And take away going back across center once you go past it towards the offensive zone. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not following what you mean. So
if you get the puck and you have possession, you go past center, you can't take it behind center.
100%. Yeah. Oh, I dislike that so much when you have to
in half, basically.
That would be intense. And I don't really like shootout at all, so that would be something different.
I'm with you.
Nah, I've never really liked it. You'd see a nice goal every once in a while, but it's so anticlimactic when I don't even know if I said that properly.
You did.
I did. Okay. Well, thought it was like a Rickyism, like
get two birds stoned at once.
Yeah, or a Totoso. A Totoso. I like that one. But that would make it a lot more exciting, and to see something different, like I don't know. I like the PWHL look at like rules. Like, I mean, they have they can try different things, and it's harder to try and implement new rules now. I feel like in the NHL, like when's the last time there was
Who cares about that's something that can go.
That's so minuscule. It's like
useless now.
Come on, just let him play the puck. But yeah, that would be an interesting rule. The split OT point.
I'm all for it. I like.
Try something different.
That's a good suggestion.
Try something different.
I'm for it. Reaper also adds get rid of the shootout, but I love OT. No, I'm saying. Chad says over and back like basketball. Yes, that's exactly the same. No over and back. I think we might be onto something. NHL, hire us. We're like mercenaries, freelance contractors. We'll fix overtime for you. All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Very exciting, low-scoring game between the Oilers and the Bruins, playoff style, and I think the majority of Oilers fans enjoyed it, especially since the Oilers come back to win it over the Bruins to kick off the 4-game Eastern Conference road trip. They'll look to continue their winning ways, stretch it into a 6-game winning streak when they take on the Columbus Blue Jackets Thursday night, 5 o'clock start our time. We're on the air at 3:30. Very much looking forward to it. Zach Tecum, great work tonight, my friend. And big thank you to everyone who tuned in and texted in, watched and listened. We appreciate you so very, very much. For Matty Kassian and Zach Tecum, I'm Tom Gazzola saying ciao for now. Talk to you tomorrow. Later, Oil Country.